What's up guys, how's it going? It is Plastic Disasta. I hope you like the new setup because I really need an upgrade. I hope this setup will last me another few years. Anyways, today we are going to do the review of the Furai model Skywarp by Flame Toys. What this is of course, it's a model kit of Skywarp from the Transformers franchise. And let me give you a bit of a warning. This does not transform. In fact, all the Furai models of the Transformers model kits don't transform. But hey, it doesn't bother me the least because putting things together plus Transformers are two of my favorite things. And for the backstory for Skywarp, well, let's just say he's a seeker under Starscream's command. And I really wish I have Starscream. If I ever did get Starscream, my thoughts and opinions are going to be the same thing as this review. Alright, looking at the box art, we have Skywarp floating in front of the Michael Bay explosions, firing his no rays. Looking at the other side of the box, it just says Transformers Model Kit Skywarp. And this side is just the close-up look of Skywarp. On the other side is the same thing. Looking at the back of the box is some pretty interesting stuff. It shows the articulation, the details, which is the front and back shot of Skywarp, the stuff inside the box, and a close-up face of Skywarp as well. And as you can tell, it is licensed by Hasbro. So, inside the box, we are greeted with a manual with a... I'll just talk about that later. Five bags of runners. While the bag of purple runners decide to escape from me. So usually with the Flame Toys Furai model Transformers model kits, the instruction manuals, they're usually in a bag along with a huge sticker sheet. And as you can tell, there's a lot of color apps that need to be taken care of, but hey, you can easily fix it with paint. So actually, as you can see, you have the Decepticon logos, but I think if I remember correctly, they do have a molded detail, so I'm just gonna paint it instead. So taking a look at the instruction manual, it looks like we have another CG image of Skywarp, and I actually admit, I really like this one over the box art in my opinion. And opening up the manual is gonna be very similar like putting together any other model kit. This page right here is going to be the final assembly of Skywarp, and into the back we see more poses of Skywarp, and this right here shows you how you clean up the parts. Starting off with runner A1, and as you look closely, it actually says Starscream right up ahead. So anyways, runner A1 is going to be the purple parts for the hands. Runner A2 is going to be more purple parts, and it seems like we have parts for the forearms right here, and I see some parts for the legs, and we have another A2. Runner B is going to be the black parts, and there's also a light gray face right down here, and there's also going to be parts for the wings, the legs, the shoulder parts, and the no rays. And you have another set of runner B. And here's what I've noticed. If you look closely right over here, yeah, you have like the black face right over here, and you have the color correcting face right here. C1's gonna have more black parts. We have parts for the head and parts for the waist right down there. We have runner C2, which I think is gonna be the joint parts, and we have another set of this runner right here. Runner D1 is gonna be the polycap runner, and some of them kind of remind me of a Gundam model. D2 is gonna be made out of soft plastic, and looks like these are parts for the legs, I believe. Runner D3 is going to consist of two colors of this tiny red translucent piece right here, and the orange translucent piece right here is for the cockpit. Oh, and the red is for the eyes, of course. Here we have runner E. It's going to be the light gray parts, and as you can see, we have parts for the skirts and the parts for the torso right over here. And finally, we have runner F. Now, this is totally not a coincidence since it's a runner F, and the word finally starts with an F. Anyways, looks like we have parts for the bottom part of the torso, and I think this might be part of the upper torso. I might be wrong. Well, I'm actually really excited putting this thing together, and to be honest, the reason why I want to get Skywarp is I really need a Decepticon because I only have like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, so I just need something to go with them. Hopefully in the future I'll get Starscream and Thundercracker. Okay guys, now that you've seen the parts, I'm gonna put this together right now and I'll see you guys after the build. Okay guys, so as was I building this happened. Yeah, I kind of cut myself, but more details on my relation with me and Flame Toys. Okay, so here is the out-of-box build of Skywarp, and let me tell you about my relation with me and Flame Toys. I sort of have this love-hate relationship with Flame Toys because as was I building the model kit, there are some areas that are real pain to put together, but in the end, I am satisfied how it looks because I can let it slide. And I'll still support them as long as they give out good model kits. Okay, so enough about me ranting. So how did the building experience go? Well, it went okay for the most part. If you're gonna do an out-of-box presentation like this, I mean, from the front part it looks fine, but the only things you need to work on would be the wings. As you can see, the Decepticon logo needs some purple, and it does need some purple and silver stripes on the wings as well. So, in the meantime, I'll do a little work on it, and I'll see you guys right after that. And before I go, I forgot to mention that you do have some nub marks because Skywarp does have some pretty dark colors. So, on the purple right here, look closely, that's a nub mark, and the black parts, that's a nub mark right over here. I'll just bring it a little closer. So, yes, I also need to work on that as well. So, I'll go work on this for real this time. Here is Skywarp looks like when he's all painted up, and I have to say, he looks magnificent. Because whenever you work on these kind of model kits, I really encourage you to do some detail work and paint it up, and I promise you it's gonna look great as this, if not better. Now for the areas I painted the tiny silver details on the chest right there, and for the no rays I did paint the silver bits right up here and right over here, and for the wings right down here I did purple right over here. Let me just bring it a little closer. See? Right over there. And as for the wings, I did the purple and silver stripes all across the wing, and I even painted the Decepticon logo. So other than that, painting this kit is actually pretty easy. Oh, and yes, I did paint a dark gray right over here in the side skirt. So it's actually not that bad. And for accessories, as you can see, the no rays are already attached to shoulders, and for hand options, you already have closed fists up there, and you have 2 of the open hands, and 2 of the trigger finger hands. So not a lot of accessories, but it's actually doable. And one cool thing about the no rays is that you can detach it from the shoulder, flip this peg up, and it shows a handle, which you can detach, not detach, but you can slide it onto the trigger finger hand. And as for articulation goes, the head is going to be on a double ball joint, and for the arm, it's on a rotation, and you can bring it out ever so slightly. The arm can go up that far. There's going to be a bicep rotation right up here, double joint on the elbow, and the wrist is on a ball joint. And as for the no rays, they do rotate on the shoulder. Now as for the torso, it could do an ab crunch, but if you move the cockpit out, well, not pull it out, anyways, if you can bring it out like this, you can have a more of an ab crunch, so that's pretty nice. And you can move back that far. Here you have a waist swivel, and it can move side to side very well. As for the skirts, the front skirt can move up that far, side skirt can move a little bit up, and as for the rears, it can move up. Now, the leg can't move up that far, but if you can shift it down just a little bit, you get more of an upward kick, and you can move back that far, And you can even do the full splits. But if you shift it back up, you can still get the splits and it can move back that far. You have a thigh rotation right up here. Double bend on the knee. And the flap behind the leg can move up and down. And as for the knee armor, it can move front and back. And for the shins, it can move down and up. Now the feet is going to be on a ball joint. The toes can move up that far, and the toes can bend down this much. And as for the pivot goes, it's not bad. As for the wings, it can move back and forth, and it rotates. So overall, the articulation is actually really good. And with good articulation comes with great aerial poses. Now, as for this pose, I put Skywarp as a taking off flight. I mean, of course, that would make sense since he's a seeker. For this one, I'm trying to recreate the Blitzwing pose, even though it's not him, when he's charging at Bumblebee in the movie. And speaking of Bumblebee, there he is. Now, some of you may prefer to displace any seeker like this, but the pose I prefer is probably something like this. Well, I don't know, I'm just used to having a no raise attached on the shoulders. Now, as for size comparisons, here he is right next to the 1144th RX-78-2. Now, I know Furai models are different from Bandai model kits, but I just want to show you this comparison how Furai models can be bigger than most 1144th Gundam kits. Okay, let me just get this out of the way. And here he is right next to the IDW Optimus Prime. Now, these two are roughly the same height, but if I remember in the G1 Transformers show, Optimus Prime is about 6 meters tall, while the Seekers are only 5 meters tall. But if I move these two aside and put Bumblebee right here, now I know Bumblebee is supposed to be a lot smaller because Furai hasn't said anything that they are meant to be in scale or anything. I mean, sure, it does bother me a little bit, but not by much. And if it does bother you, let me know in the comments below. Okay, time to wrap this up with my final thoughts. Overall, the kit is actually pretty good. I mean, sure, I had a hard time in some areas, but it's Transformers. I just can't stay mad at it. One thing I forgot to tell you is that the waist is a bit floppy, but if you put it in a pose and leave it alone, it's not going to bother you at all. And if you're a Transformers fan who likes to assemble stuff together, and if you have the time and the patience to paint it and detail it up, I say go for it. You'll have as much fun as I did. Jeez, how many times I said that in my last reviews. And let me tell you one last time. Furai model kits don't transform. If you want a Transformers figure that transforms into a vehicle, just go to your local Walmart or Target. And if you want me to review those kind of figures, let me know in the comments below. Okay guys, this is the end of the video, and if you make it to this far, I want to say thank you guys for watching, and be sure to subscribe and give a like as well if you want to see more reviews. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. You know, I kind of feel bad for not getting drift, so stay tuned for that.